All right. So first off, I want to mention that the streak is still alive. I have yet to see a Minnesota Vikings loss when at the game.
Hey, let's go.
2-0 this season, which is cool. Yeah. So let's talk about this one. Man, it's this. I don't know why this team
Another
just
week.
keeps doing. I mean, right? Exactly. Just another week. I mean, I texted you in the second quarter and said, "Hey, this might be it. This might be the chance. This team finds a way to get that 2-possession victory," and it just
Right.
didn't happen. Just kept us on the edge of our seats all the way till the end of it. You know what? There's a lot of bad. First off, Joseph, thanks for joining.
What's going on, Joseph?
Good, fun to see. Good game. But like let's start with the good, right? So defensively, we started off pretty hot. Getting that turnover right away.
Yeah,
that was nice to see. Offensively, where we ran the ball pretty well, but special teams, Greg Joseph didn't miss any of his kicks, which was huge. Yeah, but it's just, I don't know, man. It started off hot. We started out, 20-6 going into the half, and then just the third quarter happened. This team, the lulls in the third quarter is a bit concerning. But of course, we find a way to come back and do it at the end. Being at this game was just an absolute roller coaster of emotions. Like you just kind of, it's just when the second half, first off, you let him at the end of the first half get that 60-yard field goal. Come out in the second half. First drive was just not great, not good play calling. Just felt discombobulated the whole time. And then obviously the third quarter happens. They get right back in it. The fourth quarter, you're biting your nails the entire time because it's just oh man, I don't know. This defense is concerning to me, but good teams find ways to win football games, and that's what this team did. They found a way to get it done against a really, really game Jets team. So yeah, I mean the win's good. Obviously, defensively, yeah, they kind of they did what they normally do, the super bend but don't break type defense.
Right.
But overall, we did hold the Jets. I mean, one of the biggest things I want to point out here. We did hold them to 3 of 16 on third down and 1 of 6 in the red zone, especially including the 2 red zone stands at the end of the game to close it out. I don't know. I'm waiting for a game that's not gonna make me tear my hair out, but it just ain't gonna happen. It's always just gonna be stressful. But
hey, as long as we win,
exactly.
Yeah, it's every single game is fun, and it's a lot more fun that we actually end up winning them instead of losing them like last year. So it's like roller coaster. But even like all these games, there's always that feeling like we're gonna win anyways. Like this game, like they're coming back, but it was just like we're gonna win. Like I can just feel the confidence, like we're going to win.
Yeah.
I do want to say before continue talking, we are giving this away. This is through Instagram. We have this up. So at the end of the show, we will run this giveaway. And if anybody else is interested in joining, we're running this through Instagram. As far as now, we might change things later on. So go follow us on Instagram in our description. That's where our username is. And then don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Of course, that is one of the things you got to do to have a chance at winning these cards. But yeah, anyways. Yeah, man. I mean, every single game, just like you said, like this is one of those, there's been a couple games so far this year where, where we catch an early lead, or it just seems like this is going to be the game that we end up winning by double digit, or it's just like a chill game. Like it's not going to come to the end of the game. And again, this was that, and it just didn't come to it just came to the end again. I don't know. But if I'm going to go into some player stuff, first of all, I do think this game started and ended with the run game. And we talked to Wabi last week on Wednesday, and he came in and said that he thinks the key to this game is going to be Dalvin Cook in the run game, because the Jets have not been the best at defending the run, especially as far as coverage goes. According to PFF, they were number 1 in coverage defense, and we did see why this game. But it was concerning to see us have like that first half. Kirk Cousins had, what was Kirk Cousins overall? Probably dive into stats here.
21-35, 173.
So 173, and he had
only
like
4.9 average per completion.
He probably had like 50 passing yards in the second half. So so the first half is like 150. We were looking good. Everything was moving smoothly. And of course, we come down, we end up scoring that field goal at the end of the second or end of the half. And then, of course, they get the ball and have enough time to come down on us and end up kicking a field goal. And that happens to us like every single game where we allow that to happen. And then we come out from the third quarter a lot of the times, just looking sloppy. And that was just on offense and defense, but specifically on defense. Cause I want to say in the beginning of the game, I thought our defense played fantastic. But then the second half, like we allowed like 3 drives in a row. I know Garrett Wilson was one of them. Knight.
Yeah, Zonovan Knight, yeah.
Those big plays on us and set them inside of like the red zone.
Corey Davis gassed just a couple of times.
Yeah, Corey Davis gassed a couple of times. So I don't know. That part is super annoying, but I think the thing on defense that annoys me the most is the lack of blitzes. The commentators the whole time were just like talking about how the Vikings don't blitz a lot. The Vikings don't blitz a lot, even though we have 2 of the best pass rushers in the entire league in Zadarius Smith and Danielle Hunter. And we just do not do a lot of blitzes. And it's just annoying because I just feel like, especially playing like that soft coverage, I just feel like we need to focus on getting to the quarterback. And Mike White was obvious when we had him under pressure, he didn't do much. So I think we should have made a bigger deal of having that happen. Justin Jefferson, I called a Justin Jefferson score on Sauce. He ended up scoring on what is his name? Reed.
Yeah.
I believe he ended up scoring on Reed. So JJ still scored a touchdown. And our wide receivers, we didn't see a ton of Adam Thielen until the end of the game, but we did see a lot of we saw a lot from at least JJ a little bit. I'm glad that we tried to get the ball in his hands. I do want to bring up Rager. Rager had that massive catch. That was huge for us. And I want to see us use him more. We're not getting tons out of KJ Osborne. He did have that 4th and 2, but I don't understand why we're not using Rager more because we actually, every time we use him and get the ball in his hands, like something happens from it. Or
I mean, he's a legitimate downfield threat, and we just don't seem to really have that consistently enough in this offense. I mean, obviously Jefferson,
speed.
but
but even Jefferson, he's like, I think Rager's faster than Jefferson. Like Jefferson is really fast, but he's not like the elite of speed. So it'd be nice to use him more. And Kirk Cousins, to be honest, he was a little bit off this game. He was missing some throws. I do think like if the Jets would have scored on us at the end, before, like if they scored when they didn't get that 4th and goal, and then the ball came back in our hands, I do think like I feel confident Kirk Cousins gets that ball back and he goes down and puts us in position to win. But yeah, I mean, from early in the game until towards the end, like he was just missing a lot of throws. So I don't know what was with that. But again, at the end of the day, we win. We're winning games. It's just we want this one where we just destroy a team. That's all I want. I just want to beat the shit out of a team. That's it. Yeah, but I think it will come eventually. It's just not yet. It's weird how this team is, but
the running game, like you mentioned, the running game was working really well. Dalvin 20 carries, 86 yards and a touchdown. Madison 3 carries, 14 yards and a touchdown. Actually, his long run was 14, so his other 2 didn't go very far. But that touchdown run he had was nice.
Right.
Let's give some credit to Kirk Cousins on that run he had. Put the shoulder. And that's one thing with Kirk. This game, yes, was not his best. People at the game were very frustrated with him. Obviously, with anybody else, you shake your head a little bit when you just see him play off like that. But at the end of the day, the guy stood in there. I mean, obviously, as I talked about the running play, took a big hit on that one. You mentioned the Jalen Reagor shot. He took a shot to that one on the ribs. Luckily he wears those rib protectors. But that's what you got to give Kirk credit for. People question him, but you don't need to question his heart and his toughness. The guy's about as tough as they come. So that was a nice run on that play. Reagor had 1 run for 8 yards. But yeah, the passing game wasn't great. You talked about JJ, you talked about the Reagor. TJ Hawkinson had 4 catches, 33 yards, Thielen 2 for 27. And his long was 25. So then Osborne 2 for 17. The big 4th down catch. Johnny Munt 1 for 12, and that's pretty much all you have there. It's weird. They put up 27 points, and it just didn't really feel like it's one of those games watching. Like, yeah, they started off hot, but it's one of those games watching where you're just like, how do we put up 27 points? Like, it's one of those games. It just felt like last game, I felt we were consistent. Because we were consistent on offense. We did move the ball pretty well, except for the third quarter. But after last game, when I felt like the play calling was good, this game just felt like a step back to me. And that's where I think, obviously, we've talked about Kevin O'Connell. I think he's still learning how to be a good offensive play caller. But I just felt like this game offensively wasn't the best play calling wise. It just felt kind of bland, honestly.
Yeah. And we didn't come out, there was, which I did actually kind of like, was we used Justin Jefferson on that, like threw it to him the screen. I don't know what that'd be called. And then he was going to throw the ball. Is there a name
Yeah,
for that when you give it to the receiver? He's going to throw the ball. And we usually do stuff like that right in the beginning of play or of the game. And this one we kind of did it in the middle, which was it shows the skill of Justin Jefferson, because he was able to end up like seeing that there was nobody open and then run for 8 yards, which was, I mean, it's just, that guy is insane. I mean, he had some crazy catches, some huge contested catches in this game. And Justin Jefferson's still a beast, man. I mean, he was 11 targets. He had 7 receptions. I think he only had 45 yards this game, but he still has scored a touchdown. And we're talking about what is considered PFF, according to PFF, is the best coverage unit in the NFL in the Jets defense. So that was huge to see there. One thing I do want to know is, at the end of the game, when we stopped them on 4th and we got the ball back, we had one timeout. No, they had one timeout. And obviously we were like pretty much in our own end zone, and we ran it twice. Ends up being 3rd and 7. I don't understand if they need it. I don't understand why we don't throw right there. I understand, like, if we run, they have to use that timeout. But if they need a touchdown anyways, I feel like you run that.
I don't know. I think they did it right. I think
Justin.
How's it going, Justin? I think you try to burn clocks for sure. I don't know. I agree with the decision that they made there, because, I mean, obviously if you throw it incomplete, then they have that timeout when they need to drive down the field. So that leaves everything open for them. They could take a shot right down the middle and still be able to call a timeout and get up there and run a play. Or if they don't, and that's the only option they have, it's going to take them time to run up there and have to get the spike off.
But you got to get a touchdown. Like, they have to score a touchdown. So I just, like, is it going to come down, the difference to them scoring a touchdown or not going to be just because they had that timeout? It's possible. Let's say they get 10, like 1st and goal at the 10 or whatever, and there's 5 seconds left and they're able to get a timeout, like you said. Yeah, then they have one shot in the end zone. That's true. But so that's like the one thing. But I mean, you're 3rd and 7. They have plenty of time to cut to go down and score anyways, and they get one timeout. 3rd and 7. I don't know, if you pass that ball and you get that 1st down, the game's over.
Right.
The game's over. But, and do I think that if we get an incompletion, if we get an incomplete pass right there, do I think that extra timeout for them is going to be a massive difference from them scoring a touchdown or not? I'm not convinced by that. Let's see what this is. Embrace the fact that this team is always going to just give you a heart attack. Yeah.
I was all out of energy by the end of this game. Like, I was hands on my knees, standing up in the stands. It's like, come on, just do this for me, please. Yeah. And they did. And let's talk a little bit of defense here before we kind of get into what was another Ed Donatel special. You do got to give credit to both of the safeties coming up with the 2 big interceptions. Harrison Smith right away early on in the game, and then of course you got Cam Bynum at the very end.
Right.
Yeah, it's just, that's the thing with this defense. It's the playmakers have found ways just to make plays. Jordan Hicks, I thought he had a pretty rough game. Tackling was rough on some certain plays, which we'll talk about a little bit about that after, but got his hand in there when Braxton Berrios dropped that ball in the end zone that would have put them ahead. So again, and that's kind of what we were talking about. The defense just overall doesn't seem to be that great, as we know. I mean, giving up tons of yardage. Mike White, 31 of 57, which is crazy, for 369 yards. But that's the big thing, is turnovers. With Kirk, he had a pretty rough game, but he didn't turn the ball over. Yeah. Mike White did 2 times, 2 interceptions. So the turnovers are, turnovers make the difference. But it's just playmakers on this team making plays when the defense just isn't at its best, which is kind of just, I guess, that's just what we've come to know them as this season. It's frustrating as hell, but yes, it's one of those things. Like I said, I was just in full enjoy the ride mode. Today was, I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's hard though. I mean, you'd think you'd get used to it. Pretty much literally almost every single game comes down to the end of the game, and we step up. I'm always confident. Like I said, I'm always confident that that we're going to win. Like this whole game at the end, it was super annoying, but I'm like, we win these this whole year. Every time we get to this position, it's like we win these every time. I don't care if we're behind or ahead. We ended up winning them. So I know that, but it literally has to come all the way down to the end. Like we stopped them on 4th down. We get the ball back. We run it 3 times and then they get the ball. We waste 13 seconds only. And then they get the ball back again and they get one more chance down the field. And of course they make their way all the way down the field just to get into the red zone. And then we have to stop them there to finish the game with the Cam Bynum interception, obviously. Yeah. But it's just so funny. It's so weird. Like it's just weird how that happens. It just is so weird how it continuously just happens where every game is a roller coaster and it always comes down to the end.
Mm-hmm. But, I mean, our defense, at least with our defense, we did get to see, some solid players on that Jets team. As we kind of already went through the running backs. Zonovan Knight had a huge day, 15 carries, 90 yards. But Garrett Wilson, man, 8 catches, 162 yards. And the big long 60-yarder, which gets me into the tackling in this game. On that run, how many tackles did Garrett Wilson break that would have just easy routine tackles?
Yeah, if he didn't have
3 or 4.
If his little toe didn't go out of bounds, he would have scored a touchdown there. Yep.
So it was just lazy tackling all day long. What else was I gonna say on that? Yeah, that play. I think there was another one he had where we just weren't tackling. It's just, I don't know, man. It's frustrating to watch sometimes. Garrett Wilson, we just get to see how much of a stud that guy is, though. Yeah, Corey Davis adds another 5 catches for 85 yards. Ty Johnson, 6 catches, 38 yards. Uzama with a big 31-yard catch. Just this defense. It's just, again, they're just nickel and diming us all the way down the field, man.
This was the majority in the second half. In the beginning, in the first half, it was not like this. It was different. It was like a different story on both sides of the ball for both teams. Mm-hmm. And then the third quarter specifically, they had our number for that entire quarter. And then going in the fourth, I guess you could probably say it was more even, but they were still going down the field on us. It was just the only good thing the defense had today was the red zone. Their red zone defense was insane.
Third down defense was pretty good.
What's that?
Third down defense.
Their third down defense. Yeah, third down defense, red zone defense. You could say fourth down defense, right? Other than the 4th and goal that White ended up scoring that we thought wasn't a score. Whatever. That was a score. So, yeah, man, it's crazy that it just comes down to the end every single time. But at the end of the day, 10-2. 10-2, that's insane. Next week we go against the Lions, and if we win this game, we get the divisional win.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, man.
That's the other thing I wanted to say. I can't remember if it was on a Garrett Wilson catch, but when he caught the ball, then two of our own guys collided, and that's actually the play where I'm assuming Caleb Evans got his concussion again. I mean, that was just another thing, just bad tackling. I don't know. This defense, this game was like uber bend but don't break. I mean, we've been talking about it since the season started. This defense is the bend but don't break defense. This one, it bent about as far as it could without completely snapping in half, especially at the end of that game there. But this team, and Harrison Smith said it at the end of the game, this team just finds ways to get it done. And that's really at the end of the day, it's all you can say is like we have belief. Kevin O'Connell, he's and we've talked about it with Kevin O'Connell all season. He's stirring something up here. He knows what he's doing from a leadership standpoint. He gets his team in positions to win games at the end. And, obviously it's up to the playmakers to go make the plays. And that's kind of what happened, as we saw with Cam Bynum. I think he could have had another interception earlier on that would have ended the game sooner, that he just barely slipped out of his hands. But yeah, all season long, it hasn't been pretty, but at the end of the day, 10-2 is 10-2. So it's been,
I mean, we do have to, if we can just continue finish, I don't care how we win. If we continue winning that, I think the only thing that I'm a little worried about is, there isn't very many games that we win by a lot of points. We have all these games where we win by a little bit, and we don't have any games that we lose by a little bit. All the games that we lose is by a lot, but we don't have any games that we're winning by a lot. So if you're in playoffs and you're against these good teams, I don't think you can continue just hoping that we're in it until the end. Because against the Eagles and the Cowboys, we were not in it until the end, and it was just too late for us to do our magic or whatever you want to call it. So, a little bit is you have to be a little, even though you're 10-2, you have to be just a little bit concerned as far as, when you're in playoffs, you want to an overall well played game, and you might not be able to allow it to come to the end of the game where you step up, especially on defense. Like, it is funny too, because our defense starts to step up. We play more aggressive. It makes sense. It's the end of the game. We're trying to win. But yeah, like the Danielle Hunter sack, that was a massive sack, but that's 2 weeks in a row now that Danielle Hunter sacks come right at the end of the game. Obviously perfect timing, but it's
Right.
like, where was this in the middle of the game? Where was this in the third
Yeah.
quarter? Which I do come down to, like, you can think what you want about Ed Donatell. Is it the scheme or is it the players? One thing he's not doing for sure, other than the shell defense, is other than shelf defense, is the lack of pass rush. The lack of pass rush
Yeah.
makes no sense to me.
Right.
The lacks of blitzing. And I
Yeah.
almost want to go look at the stat, because we probably are one of the lower teams. I know in the beginning of the season, we're the second least blitzing team in the NFL. And I bet you we're probably up there when we do blitz, one of the most productive. So I am interested to see why.
Yeah. But it's, but that's the thing. Again, you have Mike White out there looking like Tom Brady. It's just, I mean, if
Every
you're not
quarterback
going to
looks
get
like Tom
consistent
Brady.
pressure or try to send pressure, then you got to be a little bit tighter at the corners. Me and my friend, that's all we could point out, is that they're giving these guys 10 to 15 yards of cushion. It's just, I don't know. And then the
And a
Jets,
lack of pass rush.
then the Jets corners, well, that's part of it. You can, like if you're going to be able to rush the passer, you can kind of play a little softer. If you can't do either, if you can't get pressure, you can't let them, just because there's going to be, I don't know, man.
Someone's going to be open. There was a couple times.
And then they're going to have room to run. And with our tackling the way it was today, you can't keep doing it like that. And it's just, it's frustrating. And I know Wabi said last week he thinks it's players. I'm still not sold on the scheme and the coaching, I personally, but I don't know, man. It's just the defense to me is still just the most concerning aspect of this team. And
there's no question about it. The Colts game maybe flex to Saturday, the 17th to 3:15 p.m. That's interesting, because they started doing the Saturday games. I wonder why, because we should have already have the division by then. So unless they think it's like, because that'd be considered prime time then, right? Probably
3:15 on a Saturday. I don't know. Not unless they do if they have other games that day. I guess I don't know. I haven't looked into how exactly they're going to be doing that. But
the defense is definitely the most concerning part of this team. It's just we're allowing big plays after big plays, and obviously if you're got guys like Mike White and Mac Jones and they're throwing all over your defense and getting, what was White's completion percentage this game?
31 of 57.
51. So I guess that wasn't too crazy, but the first half was not good for him at all. The second half, he probably missed a few throws.
Yeah. But it's just, I don't know. I don't know, man. The cushion's annoying. The lack of pressure is annoying. But it's just one of those things. I think at this point, we're just going to have to deal with it. And we're going to have to hope that we just find ways to get it done.
Yeah, so that's what we're doing.
At the end of the day, it's kind of what it all comes down to. So
and that's all I care for it to happen. But
right, sure.
It is fair to be a little bit concerned that, if we have another team like the Cowboys or Eagles and they whoop us early, that we're not going to have an end game to try to win.
Right.
And once we're in playoffs, obviously, we just got to play a well-rounded game, and we need to figure out the blitzing and.
They just need to find a way to get pressure. There's too much talent on this defense for it to be the way,
especially pass rushing talent.
Right, and then I did notice, like, cause I think normally Peterson and Shelley, or the corners, just play sides normally. I did notice by the end of the fourth, or like mid to end of fourth, there they were kind of moving Peterson near Garrett Wilson, trying to help out there, which was because Peterson was not getting a lot of targets his way, because Patrick Peterson's never really.
And he's a stud, and again, he was a stud this game. Especially like tackling, and you can just see how big of a vet he is. You can just see how much better he is this year than last year. He just bounced back.
Yeah.
It's been impressive to see him, and it is. So there is like still those positive pieces. Harrison Smith. I mean, I think that interception today, isn't that the most he's had in his career in a season?
5. Is it 5 now?
5 I think it's 5 or 6. I don't know what his past record was. I thought he was tied for it already.
Let's see here. Harrison Smith, where are you? This isn't gonna show full season stats.
And Danielle Hunter is just a monster. It's just we have the talent on defense. It's it is kind of weird to me that
it says he has 4, but I don't think they count. I don't think they've counted this game yet. I think he has 5 this season. So.
And was it so 4 must have been his record beforehand for single season?
That sounds right.
Okay, so yeah, so that interception probably had.
But I think that's because with this defense, that I mean, they're kind of allowing him to be himself without having to help so much, since they're not playing super tight and kind of giving some.
Well, if they're having him be himself, they need to line him at the line of scrimmage more often and blitz the quarterback, because that always seems to work.
Yeah, but let's get. I mean, let's another shout out to special teams here. Greg Joseph was a big reason we won this game. 2 of 2 on field goals, including the 51-yarder. It's his first make from 50 since week 1, or I believe week 1 against the Packers.
Like that.
And then 3 of 3 on extra points. Didn't miss a single extra point. So
I know it sucks that you have to be nervous about extra points now, though.
Right.
Like you're actually like, oh shit.
Yeah. Ryan Wright, 6 punts, 292 yards, 48 average, pretty solid. So yeah, man, this, I don't know. And I guess like the locker room conversations after the game and like the press conferences and stuff, it almost sounded like they all thought they lost this game with the way they were talking. But at the end of the day, it wasn't pretty. Stressful as normal, but 10-2 is 10-2, as we've said.
I know that's
we say that every week. We say it's not pretty. Eventually they'll figure it out. But
I know,
it is funny. Whatever it's a good record.
Even on here, like we want to be so excited about being 10-2, and we are. But then there is just that, like it wasn't a perfect game. It wasn't, especially when in the beginning we kind of got honey-dicked, because in the beginning we thought like this is the game that we're going to destroy and win, and then we didn't pull back on I don't know what happens. Pull back on something, and then kind of goes downhill for a while until the end of the game, and then we step up again and win it.
Yeah, I know they were talking to Kevin O'Connell at the end of the game. He said he doesn't think they're too conservative when they have leads. Sometimes it feels like they might be, but he said they need to find a way to clean up the third quarters, because the third quarters have been pretty bad, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird that the third quarter they just can't. Yeah, they just can't do anything.
Out, right? 3 and out. Right out on our first drive after the halftime.
And my friend was telling me the Jets are one of the better teams in the third quarter, so something had to give, and unfortunately for us, it gave in the wrong way and led us to where we were.
Yeah, it's funny. I guess we have a plus 51. Actually, I think the Jets had a plus 51 point differential, which led the league in fourth quarters. Oh, and they still, I was going to say we passed them up, but they had plus 51 and we had plus 50. They're number 1, we're number 2. And it came down to the fourth quarter where they actually scored 10 more points or they scored 10, we scored 7. So now they have a few more than us, but we scored when it mattered. So that really matters. But yeah.
Hey, at the end of the day though, it's a W. Unfortunately couldn't seal the division because the Giants
or the Lions,
the Jets the Lions destroyed, easily handled the Jaguars 40-14. So we're gonna have to wait. I mean, what better way to do it? Go into Detroit, whip their ass, take home the division, and then start looking toward. Then we get to start looking towards the playoffs already. I'm excited for that. I hope we can find a way to do that. But anyway, game against the Jets, 27-22. It's the same story as it's always been. It's not pretty, a lot to clean up. But at the end of the day, you found a way to win, and that's the 22 Minnesota Vikings. If somebody told you that, hey, remember all those one-score games we had last year? A lot of those are going to be turned around. We're going to win a lot of those one-score games like we were asking for, and we're going to be 10-2. Would you take it? 100%.
All day, any day. No doubt. No questions about it. All right, so let's do this giveaway. So here's the wheel. Here it is. Actually, let me jump back in here. Justin Jefferson Rookie Card. All right. So we got all the names here. Again, this is through Instagram. So if you want to, we're going to be doing this every single week. If you want to join these giveaways, follow us on Instagram at GG_sports_podcast. It's in the description. And of course, subscribe to our channel, because this is where we're going to be doing this giveaway.
I believe we're at 598 subscribers, so 2 away.
598 subscribers. We need 2 more to get to 600, and we're gonna keep these giveaways going. Who knows? I mean, the more they work, the more subscribers we get, all that good stuff, the better the giveaways can be in the long run. But yeah, let's run this one. Let's go.
And
Caden 2096 with the win. Congratulations, Caden. We will hit you up on Instagram and get the information to your mailing address, all that stuff. Send it out right away. Like I said, again, we're going to be doing this every single week. Check us on Instagram. And yeah, subscribe to our channel, all that good stuff.
So, yeah.
So final thoughts for this game?
I think I mean, I think I probably said it like 9 or 10 times during this thing. Win's a win. 10-2 is pretty sweet. Frustrating. Great atmosphere at that game though. It got loud when they needed it to get loud. It was fantastic. So much fun. That stadium is so beautiful. Fun to watch games live there. Yeah, it great atmosphere. This team, and they've talked about it. This team should feel very very pleased and very lucky that their fans are as great as they are, because it was even when things were looking bleak, even when it was like a first, even at the end there and it was 1st and 10, when you could, be down on the dumps and think, oh God, here we go, we're going to blow it. Like, it got loud in there, and it's great. It was a great time, great atmosphere, and 10-2 is pretty sweet. Everybody was happy.
That brings me to, so you, like you said, you've never been to a game where the Vikings lost.
Nope.
So, I mean, I think one of our next investments is season tickets for you, to keep that rolling.
We need to get this right here to the Vikings, because if all the like the Kirk kid, he gets tickets to the game and get tickets to the games and stuff for being a
true Vikings
a following fan. Has anyone ever seen Angels in the Outfield? Like those?
Yeah, it's been a long time.
They got the kid to the games because every time he went, they won. Yep. I don't know if there's Angels. I think I'm just good luck. Bring me in. Season tickets, Vikings. You know what to do. Yep. Everybody share this so they see it. Get me into those games. They'll win them all. It'll be fun. Give me to the Super Bowl. It'd be sweet.
Yep. Let's do it.
What else can we say? But all right. Any other thoughts from you on this game?
No, that's it.
All right.
Let's move on to the Lions.
Perfect. All right. Thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see you later on this week on the GG Sports Podcast. Thanks for joining us.
Skol Vikes.